Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today, September 25th, 2024. It's a beautiful day, a wonderful evening. Let's give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Hey, Lisa. Yes, yeah. So the moon and the sun, they have a 33-year alignment. It takes, right, a full year for it to complete its cycle, right? When the moon, the sun, and the earth align, it's called the Siji. Yeah, it's just a cool, interesting fact, right? You get that magic of the threes, that triple goddess on full display. Good evening, Valerie. Gandhi, good to see you. Isaac, good to see you. Taz, much love. Nikosmas, good to see you. Lilith, good to see you. Holler Haint, much love. D-Love, much love. Pamela, great to see you. Stoic Dissension, good evening. Taz, much love. Spider Bite, good to see you. Daphne, good evening. Atticus, much love. Jeremy, good to see you. Mother Rhea, all the love. Gio, good to see you. All right. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, I have some really bad allergies right now, but we persist. Excuse me. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about our astrology. So we are still in the moon in Cancer and the sun in Libra. The moon in Cancer is that beautiful energy of wanting to be connected to the family, right? Of being really intensely connected to our emotions and to the emotional state of those around us, to be in that mode where we are seeking security and are looking to provide security. Our loved ones are going to be on our mind. Our sense of protection and our ability to protect is going to be on the mind, right? Especially with this balance energy of Libra, which seeks to be able to move in community and stability, that really seeks to be able to bridge that gap between people and help people communicate and flow, and them to flow as well. So this is going to be a really powerful energy for connecting to that family energy, to those close relationships, to those key foundational relationships in your life. And take advantage of this moment. Be grounded in your emotions and seek that balance. It's beautiful energy. Well, when I was meditating this morning and I was drawing my cards, I drew the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is such beautiful energy. It's that perfected teacher, right? The Queen of Swords is that seeker of wisdom in that role of the kin builder. But it's more than that. It's that feminine that seeks to rise and ascend to the highest levels, right? To seek and reach for the air and to be able to cut ties and to be free, to be dependent, to be that self-defender, that self-protector, and to empower others for that energy. So when I was meditating upon her, the energy I got was that this need for independence, this need for self-reliance, this need to take responsibility for oneself. You know, part of that wisdom that she brings is that ability to do and move and be able to protect and defend. You know, it's intense energy, and not all of us are capable of doing it, but that Queen of Swords certainly is. And I wanted to read for you a beautiful poem of a goddess that keeps coming up in my mind lately, and an energy that I believe embodies that sword energy. It's called Tacita by James Benjamin Kenyon. She roves through shadowy solitudes, where scentless herbs and fragile flowers pine in the gloom that ever broods around her sylvan bowers. No woods, no winds amid the branches sigh, no football wakes the sodden ground, and the cold streams that hurry by flow on without a sound. Strange, voiceless birds from spray to spray flit silently and all day long. The dancing midges round her play, but sing no elfin song. The haunting twilight ebbs and flows, chill is the night, wan is the morn. Through this dim wood no minstrel goes, no hunter winds his horn. No panting stag seeks yon dark pool, no shepherd calls his bleating sheep from sunburnt meads to shadows cool, and grasses green and deep. Across her path from reed to reed the spider weaves his gossamer. She recks not where her footsteps lead, the world is dead to her. Her eyes are sad, her face is pale, her head droops sidewise wearily. Her dusky tresses like a veil down ripple to her knees. How many a cycle hath she trod, each mossy isle, each leafy dell, alas, her feet with silence shod, ne'er flee the hateful spell. All right. Fun little poem. Beautiful, beautiful magic. All right. Oh, excuse me. All right. Let us now jump to our Ganapati Oracle. Ganapati Ganesha is that divine child, the Lord of beginnings, guardian of the threshold, and the master of spirits, the Ganas. And we ask them to send us a message to inspire us this evening and ensure that our words are heard by those who need to hear them. So, Lord Ganapati, what is the message? Today's message is healing. Healing. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And look, you see Ganapati upon the peacock. Wow. You know, the peacock is that bird that pursues beauty, right? That embraces that beautiful energy and puts it on full display, right? That exists in that multitude of the colors of the rainbow, right? That really seeks to fully connect to the totality of experience and the images that we can perceive. And so much of healing energy is about being in the body, fully embracing the totality of experience, learning to fully accept the self and to accept the moment, right? And to be able to do that work of connecting with others. The best kind of healing comes from that healing embrace. It comes from existing in community and in flow, right? Beautiful energy. All right. Seek out that healing, right? And in this moon in Cancer, seek out that foundational energy of the family, of your close foundational relationships, and allow them to help you heal. All right. We're now going to go to our sortes. For those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And We invoke the spirits, the goddesses, the goddesses of inspiration, and we ask them to send us a message through the text. Today, we're going to start with 10 plays by the great Euripides. So, muses, what is the message from Euripides? Inspire us this evening. All right. It's as well Apollo gave you crazy wits. Otherwise, it would have cost you dear to be speeding my commanders from the land with such malediction. Wow. It's as well Apollo gave you crazy wits. Remember that Apollo in the Greco-Roman tradition is often the one who brings that divining energy, right? They are the slayer of the python and usurp that energy, and they become the one that inspires those muses, right? Recognize this Apollonian energy is the parallel to the Dionysian energy. As Dionysus is to the Maenads, Apollo is to the oracles, right? They are twins, as above, so below. Right? It would have cost you dear to be speeding my commanders from the land with such maledictions. What's interesting is that if you embrace this madness of Apollo, even though it drives you to wild things, you are protected. For it is not just madness, but Apollonian madness. All right. Let us continue. Rabelais. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Rabelais? Inspire us this evening. Ah, said Panurge, you, Frere Jean, are committing a sin, my former friend. Former, I say, for I am not, and you are not. It grieves me to say so, since I believe that swearing is very good for your spleen, just as a man spitting timber is greatly comforted if someone nearby grunts, at every stroke he makes, and just as a player at ninepins is amazedly comforted whenever he has failed to bowl straight, if some bright soul nearby him twists his neck and half turns his body towards the direction in which the ball would have run, if it had been properly thrown to hit the skittles, nevertheless, you are still sinning, my dear old friend. You are all still sinning, right? Just as we are former friends, because you and I are not. To exist is then to be in that state of sin. It doesn't matter what games you play. It doesn't matter what you tell yourself. Oh, wow. Interesting. Nevertheless, you are still sinning, my old friend. Okay. Let us continue. We're going to go now to Hermann Hesse, Narcissus, and Goldman. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Hermann Hesse? Inspire us this evening. All right. During the first days of his new wandering life, in the first greedy whirl of regained freedom, Goldman had to relearn to live the homeless, timeless life of the traveler. Obedient to no man, dependent only on weather and season, without a goal before them or a roof above them, owning nothing, open to every whim of fate, the homeless wanderers lead their childlike, brave, shabby existence. They are the sons of Adam who, driven out of paradise, the brothers of the animals of innocence. Again, it's that Dionysian energy, right? And learning to go through the cycles of generation and to embrace that life of being able to move freely beyond attachment, to be in that sustainable energy of self-reliance, one who goes and persists through the cycles of life and death, right? Wow. Obedient to no one, dependent only on weather and season, without a goal before them or a roof above them, owning nothing, open to every whim of fate, The homeless wanderers lead their childlike, brave, shabby existence. They are the sons of Adam who, driven out of paradise, the brothers of the animals of innocent. Right? And it makes me think of many other characters throughout these stories, not simply that Dionysus, but also that Shiva, right? That Odin, right? You get so many of these primordial wanderers, that green man, right? Interesting. The wandering, Jew and all of the related myths around him. So many interesting characters. It's beautiful. Let us continue. Or even Lao Tzu, right, from the Asian tradition, or even the Buddha himself. Learning to move free without attachment is part of the magic. All right. Federico Garcia Lorca, Three Tragedies. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Federico Garcia Lorca? Inspire us. Do you hear that? What? Don't you hear her crying? No. I thought I heard a child crying. Yes, very near, and he cried as though drowning. And there are always a lot of children around here who come to steal our fruit. No, it's the voice of a small child. Oh, wow, this is intense imagery and scary. Do you hear that? What? Don't you hear a crying? No. I thought I heard a child crying very near, and he cried as though drowning. There are always a lot of children around here who come to steal fruit. Look at this. We ignore the crying, right? And we dismiss others, those human beings, as nothing more than thieves worthy of drowning, simply to protect our possessions and our material, right? We dehumanize that small child. Recognize this kind of energy, what that kind of possession and fear can do to you, how it can make you view your neighbor as your enemy, a child as a thief. All right, let us continue. We are now going to go to Don Juan in Hell. Muse, guide my hand. What is the message from Bernard Shaw in Don Juan in Hell? But you did take her. That was the revelation. Up to that moment, I had never lost the sense of being my own master, never consciously taken a single step until my reason had examined and approved it. But you did take her. Look at this. He commits an act of violence, right? An act of possession, an act of taking, right? The woman accuses him. You took her, right? And Don Juan replies, that was the revelation. Up to that moment, I had never lost the sense of being my own master, never consciously taken a single step until my reason had examined and approved it. Right? It is in that realization of the other and the agency of another. Right? It is in recognizing the humanity of those around us, their self-worth, their self-determination, their beauty, that we come to reason. Right? It is when he viewed that person and he understood that he did commit an act of violence that he was able to come to reason, as dark as it is. All right. We are now going to go to the Egyptian Tarot of Thelema by Aleister Crowley. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Aleister Crowley? Inspire us. The moon was understood by ancient astrologers to be the lens by which all other celestial powers exert their influence upon the earth. The moon was understood by the ancient astrologers to be the lens by which all other celestial powers exert their influence upon the earth. Right? It's that great reflector. It is that massive giant mirror that is able to bridge between the two worlds, right? It is the light and the dark. It's that Hecate energy. Wow. The magical power of the path of Resh is therefore that of acquiring wealth or gold, whether material or otherwise. The sun is the visible giver of light and life to the earth and all her creatures. It is by the solar lamp of the source of life itself that all knowledge is gathered and ordered by its principles, so that wisdom is obtained therein. Right? And recognize that sun in her feminine form, for the sun is that bi-gendered creatrix. Let us continue. We are now going to go to Byron. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Lord Byron? Spare not thyself, proceed, says the witch. She was like me in lineaments, her eyes, her hair, her features, all to the very tone, even of her voice. They said they were like to mine, but softened all and tempered into beauty. She had the same lone thoughts and wanderings, the quest for hidden knowledge, and a mind to comprehend the universe. Nor these alone, but with them gentler powers than mine, pity and smiles and tears, which I had not, and tenderness, but that I had for her, humility, and that I never had. Her faults were mine, her virtues her own. I loved her, and I destroyed her. The witch, with thy hand, not with my hand, but heart, which broke her heart. It gazed on mine and withered. I have shed blood, but not hers, and yet her blood was shed. I saw and could not staunch it. And now they speak of another type of violence. We were talking about that type of violence of possession, right? That type of violence of engagement where one force seeks to control and domineer another. But now we are seeing a different kind of engagement, that romantic love kind of engagement, where there is a massive commitment and an engagement of this loving connection that is not fully understood or realized. Often you'll see these outgoing energies, these energetic people who, again, they seek to conquest, right? They seek to engage, and they spin the world. They say whatever is necessary to gain that love, and they make promises beyond their meaning. But that also is a type of violence, right? And what we are seeing here is that cost of that kind of violence. Manfred may not have attacked her, but he hurt her through his infidelity. He committed violence against her by breaking promise, right? Interesting. All right, let's continue. Monastery of the Seven Rays. Muses. What is that message from Michael Bertio in the Monastery of the Seven Rays? Inspire us. There can be no doubt that the student who uses this magical formula will be able to perceive within his own being and consciousness the ultimate reality of the foundation of occult possibility in a way known to none other in the universe. If you would only draw upon the foundation of occult philosophy, of occult possibility, You will be able to explore the world as it really is, not as it looks from the outside. Our blessings always. Right? And this is about learning and gaining that initiation. Right? We each have to broaden our perspective and embrace possibility. And only then can we learn to be able to see reality as it is. When we can see outside of our individual self and learn to embrace the universe from its multiple perspective, from its unfolding across cyclical time and generation. Right? Let's continue. We're now going to go to The Three Musketeers by Dumas. Muses, what is the message from Dumas? Inspire us this evening. Stop a bit, said the dragoon, placing his saber like a spit upon the two large iron dogs which held the firebrands in this chimney. Stop a bit, I am in it, you cursed host. A dripping pan immediately, that I may not lose a drop of the fat of this estimable bird. I've read this one before, and this is a funny moment. What we're seeing is the dragoon, the soldier. He's inside the chimney trying to fix up this bird that they're cooking to ensure that it cooks correctly, to ensure that everything is created, you know? And the other person starts spinning it, and the other guy says, no, stop it, I'm in it, you cursed host. Too ridiculous. But we got to understand, right? The birds, this is a sacred, powerful image, usually priestesses of Aphrodite, right? Dragoon, a dragon, guardians of those priestesses, right? Why are they cooking a bird? Why are they collecting the fat? Interesting. Kind of a wild image, if you ask me. All right. We are now going to go to the poems of W.B. Yeats. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Yeats? Inspire us. Yonder the sickle of the moon sails on, but here the lioness licks her soft cub, tender and fearless on her funeral pyre, above salvia dripping from his jaws. I'm going to start this again. This is wild. Yonder the sickle of the moon sails on, but here the lioness licks her soft cub, tender and fearless on her funeral pyre, above saliva dripping from his jaws. The lion, the world's great solitary, bends lowly the head of his magnificence and roars, mad with the touch of the unknown, not as he shakes the forest, but a cry, long and musical, a dewdrop hung, bright on a grass blade's underside, might hear nor tremble to its fall. The fire sweeps round, reshining in his eyes, so ever moves the flaming circle of the outer law, nor heeds the old dim protest and the cry. The orb of the most inner living heart gives forth. He, the eternal, works his will. Wow, that is so beautiful. So that's called On Mr. Nettleship's Picture at the Royal Hibernian Academy. Interesting. Yonder the sickle of the moon sails on. The sickle is that Saturnian power. In the moon, we know that great reflector, that divine feminine, right? That mirror that reflects all light. But here the lioness licks her soft cub, tender and fearless on her funeral pyre. The lioness on the funeral pyre with her cubs, right? The funeral pyre is the key to that ascension, to the apotheosis, remember? And the Virgo, that virgin, is the one who ascends. Above, saliva dripping from his jaws, the lion, The world's great solitary bends lowly the head of his magnificence and roars, mad with the touch of the unknown, mad with the touch of the unknown, embracing that Dionysian madness, right? Not as he shakes the forest, but a cry, that roar, right? Again, that Bacchic roar we see, the Iwa Saboy, right? Low, long, and musical. A dewdrop hung bright on grass blades underside might hear nor tremble to its fall. The fire sweeps around, shining in his eyes. The fire in the eyes, right? That's Muse magic, Helios magic. The children of Helios always bear the sign of the fire in their eyes. So ever moves the flaming circle of the outer law. The flaming circle of the outer law, the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros, right? Again, that cyclical power. Nor heeds the old dim protest and the cry, the orb of the most inner living heart. The orb of the most inner living heart in the Ouroboros snake. Together do they form what? The Orphic egg, right? The Orphic egg. And what do we get out of this? Gives forth he, the eternal, works his will, right? The eternal, that Phanes reformed as that Orphic egg, the combination of masculine and feminine embodied in a singular form. Eternally working that will. Wild. Whoa. Beautiful imagery. Love it. Let us continue. The Psychic Bible by Genesis P-Orridge in the Temple of Psychic Youth. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from the Temple of Psychic Youth? In search for signs, individuals see directions. That's funny. In search for signs, individuals see directions. A sign is so much more than a direction, right? A sign is that image. It's that eidolon, that ideal. Is it pointing anywhere necessarily, but to itself, right? Are we misunderstanding the image by seeking direction? Are we asking the wrong question, right? What does the synchronicity mean? What is it truly a sign thereof? The Book of Thought. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Crowley in the Book of Thought? Inspire us. The princesses represent the hay, final of the name. They represent the ultimate issue of the original energy in its completion, its crystallization, and its materialization. They also represent the counterbalancing, the reabsorption of this energy. They represent the silence into which all things return. They are thus at the same time permanent and non-existent, an audit to the equation. 0 = 2. Wow, this is so beautiful, right? Those princesses, those virgins, the muses that are essential to the entirety of the tradition, right? They represent the ultimate issue of the original energy in its completion, its crystallization, and its materialization, right? The end, but they also represent the counterbalancing and the reabsorption of the energy. That ultimate apotheosis and that beginning of the cycle born anew. They represent the silence into which all things return, right? That virgin on the pyre, that Hecate energy, that Dia Mukta, Tacita energy. They are thus at the same time permanent and non-existent, forever and non-existent. An audit of the equation 0 = 2. Wow. 0 = 2 is that paradox of the universe, right? Out of nothing comes the duality of existence, right? Out of nothing or out of form. Is that nothing? What is it? It's that fool, right? That zero. 0 equals 2. Interesting. Both womb and phallus, right? Let us continue. The Wudang Quantum Leap by Reginald Crossley. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Reginald Crossley? Inspire us. When she begins with the libation, using either water or alcohol to acknowledge the interconnectedness between the ancestors, the Mother Earth, the Loa, and the adepts, she is already in contract through her radiance with the shadow matter universes and other dimensions of nature. Wow, this is talking about the Mamisi or the Mambo, right? The priestesses of the Loa. And when they engage in that connection with the Mother Earth, right? It is not simply this earth, but it is that transcendental earth. It's not just this creation, but it is the totality of creations in the plural, right? For she exists outside of time. We are all encompassed within that great mother. So to connect to that great mother is to wake up into that unfolding weave, right? And part of that is that shadow. This is something that a lot of people who grow up in more black and white traditions have a real hard time with, right? When you start to get into these transcendental forms, you have to accept the difficult aspects of the universe, at least difficult from our limited perspective, right? We're talking about these princesses who are those great recyclers. The great mother is also that great recycler, right? Hecate consumes her children. She also makes love to her children. It's a complicated thing. All right. Watch Fiends and Rack Screams by Antonin Artaud. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Antonin Artaud? Inspire us. It is in that way that one must accept these drawings in the barbarism and the disorder of their graphic style, which is never preoccupied with art, but with sincerity and spontaneity of the inspired line. Wow. Again, everything with Artaud is about embracing those muses, about being in that incredible inspired energy, right? Allowing oneself to be enthused and to give voice, right? It has nothing to do with the line or the image and has everything to do with the conversation. Interesting. All right. Okay, I've been going a little too long with the sortes. I don't want to take too long today because we all would love to listen to the good doctor this evening. So what I'm going to do is we will do one more sortes and then we will call it evening for the sortes and hop to our tarot. All right, we're going to go to Aleister Crowley, book 4. Muses, what is the message from Crowley in book 4? Inspire us. The numbers 000 to 10 are printed in heavy block type. They refer to the 3 forms of 0 and the 10 Sephiroth, or numbers of the decimal scale. The 000, right? It's not a single beginning, but a triple beginning. Those muses again, right? In triplicity of form. Beautiful, beautiful energy. And they give birth to the 10 Sephiroth, or numbers of the decimal scale, right? That unfolding of the 1 through 9. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So much muse energy this evening, so much princess energy, so much incredible, loving Hecate energy. I love it. Let's see where this is going. So we're going to start our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm. And it would really be a big help. And I would appreciate it so much. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, Snappy, ddts@gmail.com, or find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. I'm hanging out every day. You can message me. There's lots of beautiful people there. We're always having a good time. Come say hi. All right. So let's use the Thoth Tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to invoke Saturn Kronos and ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate, to show us our interconnections. And we ask, how do we rise above the conflicts? How do we evolve? How do we best move and flow? How do we manifest our true will? And what is the greater message for the community? And as always, the center card is our most important card. And today's center is the Hangman. The Hangman. The Hangman is intense energy. It's beautiful energy. It is difficult energy. The Hangman is the one who recognizes a problem and climbs the tree in order to solve it, to gain that perspective. But in order to climb that tree, they had to struggle and sacrifices were made. The gaining of that perspective put them in the extremes of danger. They had to gaze into the abyss. They had to come to that point of near death, right? And now they must use their wisdom to come down from this point, to come back to reality and to move beyond it, to take the lesson learned and to see beyond it. Imagine that energy of Odysseus. Right? Odysseus is the one who, when confronted with the sirens, he has his men take the lesson and take the magic of Circe, use the special beeswax to plug their ears. But he himself strings himself upon the mast so that he can hear the song of the siren, the song of those virgin princesses, right? But then after he struggles and he persists and he experiences that song, he has to come down from that experience transformed. He must take that knowledge that he has gained from looking into that ferocity and use it to transform themselves. It's the same thing we see with Odin. Odin climbs the great tree Yggdrasil and he hangs himself in order to gain the knowledge of life and death, right? To gain that perspective, he goes to the beginning of creation and hangs himself at the center of it to experience it all in its totality, right? But even Odin must then get down from the tree. He must take that knowledge and come back to creation, reformed and reborn, right? A sacrifice was made, experience, right? Fear, death was experienced. The monstrous was faced, right? But now we must take that knowledge and we must move forward, renewed. Where are we going? Beautiful. We are connecting to this Queen Mother energy, right? This is about embodying this energy of that one who gives love and nurtures. The Queen of Cups is the ultimate mother, the ultimate provider. It's that feminine energy, that kinship builder in that reciprocal energy of the cups. The one who gives freely of her love. The one who is that mirror, who reflects, who moves in flow, and who is that emotional center, that emotional provider, that emotional support. We are being called to embody that mothering energy. Wow. Let's see where this is going. Yeah. It is about, in this moment, taking this perspective and seeing and reflecting upon our present, right? Taking this energy and learning to nurture and tend to our garden, right? We must build and maintain our relationships in our present. We must go to our family and to what we have built, what we have manifested, right? All of the stuff in our life we've been working towards, and recognize that it needs to be tended to, right? The garden must be cared for with that loving maternal energy. The weeds must be pulled, the leaves must be trimmed, right? The fruit must be tended to. Beautiful energy, beautiful energy. And this is what I'm getting here, is the sense of this perspective is about grounding oneself. It's about coming back to earth and taking responsibility, right? This is reflecting deeply upon that greater message we had with the the Queen of Swords this morning, when I was reflecting and thinking of the title, that free yourself from dependence and learn responsibility. This is what we're seeing here. Free yourself and become that provider, that responsible, nurturing energy, the one who takes responsibility for their stuff, for their life, right? Beautiful. No longer are you that energy of the one who needs that emotional support. You are now that emotional support, right? There's a switching here. Yeah, and if you can learn to take this energy, this is so beautiful. The sun is on the horizon, right? Recognize that from the vantage point of the hangman, you can see the brilliance of the sun, right? The completed middle way, that perfection upon the earth, the 666 manifested, right? Loving abundance, family, joy, all materialized in the physical world. What profound, beautiful energy. You just have to have the strength to learn from this perspective and move towards it. And there we see her now. We called her, and here she comes. The Queen of Swords is here. Beautiful energy, right? That Queen of Swords, we have been speaking about her. She is that ultimate teacher, that provider and seeker of wisdom, the one who defends herself, who is that independent person, who can move, who can strive for the highest of heights by her own means, and has that ability to share that knowledge with others, right? To refract it and reframe it in a way that other people can learn from. Connecting to her brings you that sun. This is beautiful, 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 beautiful energy. Wow. Let's continue. Wow. Where does this lead you? It leads you to that foundation. It leads you to the establishment of that family energy. This is so important. What we're seeing here is that the sun is all about building and connecting to this foundation. It's about coming into communion, right? What we're seeing now is we're seeing two energies, a partnership, a loving connection, right? We have on one hand that loving, providing mother, that emotional support. And then we, on the other hand, we have that independent person who is that knowledgeable provider, that teacher. And together these two can exist in that loving harmony that produces the sun, that builds that foundation. Wow. Yeah. We're seeing this on full display. The key to that sun is the uniting of these two perspectives. It's the coming together of these two forces. Look, we have the truce, right? And in the center is the birthing of that lotus, the blooming of the flower. When we come together in that multiplicity of forms and shared perspective and harmony and flow and understanding, that is when we achieve that sun. When we can balance that mother energy and that teacher energy. Wow. Where is this going? Recognize that you have the power here. It's all in your control, right? You have the ultimate force to bring about this kind of change and transformation. The Two of Wands dominion is that incredible power of action, that expansive force that will grow into the 4, the 6, the 8, and the 10. But recognize that this power can go towards love or violence. You are in control, and it's about directing that energy in a proper way. What we see is that the proper way is in balance with that truce energy. Notice we see two crosses. two crosses. When you come together with another in shared harmonious perspectives, in shared working, right? Duality of power, even. That is when you are in that success. Yeah, materializes that success, materializes that six. This is such beautiful energy, right? That six is that perfected balance, that absolute growth, that fully realized beautiful tower in the present, as perfected as it can get in that beautiful moment, right? Before it starts to become that grandiose monstrosity, the absolute middle, right? Oh, wow. This is such a beautiful reading. This is incredible. Okay. Let's take a look at the full spread here. Please, once again, give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a difference. And here we go. Here we got our full spread. So let's take a look, right? This Queen of Swords energy, right? What I'm seeing here is we're seeing a partnership between these two energies. One of them will be embodying you. The other will be that embodying that partner. And you need to figure out in your own life where these energies lie. But there are two energies that are coming together in harmony, right? And here we're seeing what is happening when on the energy of the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, she needs to learn to be in that prudent energy, to tending to what she has built and learning to expand her perspective, right? One of the difficulties of that Queen of Swords is that she is that independent energy, fiercely independent. And this is about learning to take in other perspectives and to expand, right? She's good at teaching, but she's not always good at listening. And this is learning to be in that balanced flow and to do that prudent energy, to not just soar to the heights, but to do what is necessary to build properly, right? Beautiful, beautiful energy here for her. Wow. Then in the center, right, we see the main energy of both sides. Both of these people need to do this energy in the middle. This is where the two unite in singular form. And this is about recognizing that both of these forces are standing right now on that tree, on that mast, right? They are standing like Odysseus and listening to that siren song and experiencing everything and learning. And now they have taken that perspective. They have found what they're looking for, and they must move in action and flow together to create that sun. And they create that sun together by uniting their forces of will together, right? This is like coming together from two different places, right? Seeing each other in that ether and then coming down and manifesting into that sun through that force of will. In the role for this Queen of Cups, what she's doing, where she's focused, is her energy is all about building that foundation, right? Building that home, securing and achieving that success, right? This is about building a business and becoming successful by your own means. So this is interesting. We're seeing that these two people are both these workers and builders, and they're going to come together, and together they're going to manifest this incredible power, this incredible foundation, this artistic love and flow that's going to result in that creation of the sun. Wow. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I love this one so much. All right, everyone. That's the message. Seek out that other, right? You need to connect to that other person, expand your perspective, learn to move and flow, to pursue that will, to pursue the flow, the sun together, to build that foundation. And if you build that foundation, the success will come. And the key to that success is learning to be in this truth, learning to get these two harmonies, these two energies to harmonize and flow in loving communion and loving connection. And together they give birth to the sun. Beautiful, right? Thank you so much, everyone. This was a lovely reading. I hope it resonated with you. Let us do one final sortes. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Dr. Faustus and Marlowe? Then, Dr. Faustus, mark what I shall say. As I was sometime solitary set within my closet, sundry thoughts arose about the honor of mine ancestors, how they had won by prowess such exploits, got such riches, subdued so many kingdoms, as we that do succeed, or they that shall hereafter possess our throne shall, I fear me, ne'er attain to that degree of high renown and great authority. When he goes into that closet and reflects upon his ancestor lineage and he recognizes that he is standing upon the feet of giants, right? You can go back to your ancestors. You can look into the past and you can learn from those giants. Seek them out. All right, everyone. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I hope I'll see you at Dr. Ammon's lesson. All right. Take care. Peace and love. Till next time.